Hey team, Eric Wood-Solomon here, a physiotherapist at Rebuild Fitness and Physiotherapy, and today we're going to be going over the big three. So these are three exercises to build trunk musculature endurance around your core. One of the key principles here to be thinking about is that for anything to be therapeutic, it can't be causing or reproducing your symptoms. So exercise number one is called the McGill curl up. So to get down to the floor, and we remember from last time, we want to get to the floor in a spine sparing way using the lunge. So I'm going to step, work my way down to the floor, right? We don't want to slump our back. Okay, so for the curl up, the setup for this, we're gonna have one knee bent, one leg straight. Our fingertips are gonna go in the curve of our low back to maintain that natural curve in the lumbar spine. The first step of this is just to contract the abdominal muscles. So I'm gonna brace my trunk muscles. If I put my fingers into my obliques here and I stiffen them up, you'll see my fingertips get pushed out, okay? Don't think six pack with this, think obliques. When we turn on this contraction, you wanna think about ramping up the intensity of it the same way as if you're turning up the volume on your stereo. So we start at 0 and we slowly begin to build the contraction, keeping in mind that we wanna brace and not cause pain, because if I squeeze these muscles too hard, and the tissues in my spine are too sensitized, that can reproduce pain. So, step one, I'm gonna brace my trunk muscles, my abdominal muscles. I'm gonna hold this for 10 seconds while I continue to breathe. And then I'm gonna let it go and relax. So when I'm going in and out of this, we don't want to go hard start, hard stop. I don't wanna, that can add too much of a shock load to the spine and cause pain. You want to ease into the contraction and then ease back out of it. Okay. Progression 2 here, we're going to curl our head, shoulder blades, and elbows just up off the floor. Curl up. Again, I'm holding this contraction for 10 seconds. I'm going to ease back down out of it and then recover for 10 seconds. Next progression here, I'm going to pre-brace the abdominal muscles. So I'm going to stiffen my abdominal muscles first, then I'm going to curl up. Again, I'm holding that abdominal contraction for 10 seconds, and then I ease back down and finish. Part 2 of our big three is going to be the side bridge. Now this exercise is designed to build endurance in the lateral trunk musculature as well as the lateral hip. Step 1 is going to be from the side lying position. So we're going to lay on our side. Head is supported under our arm. Legs are stacked on top of each other, and my hand is pushing on the ground for support here. Now the trick when we're doing this is to keep the spine in neutral, and you may have to adjust. Sometimes the back will sag down towards the floor to create a bit of a side bend, so just make sure that you keep a little space between your side and the floor to maintain that neutral spine position. Now to do this, I'm going to again pre-brace the abdominal muscles, so gently engage my abdominals, my obliques. I'm gonna lift my legs so they hover just a few centimeters off the ground, okay? Now by doing this, I am working my lateral oblique and lateral hip. They're contracting to hold my legs in this hover position for 10 seconds. Again, keep breathing while you're doing this, and then ease them back out. If you're able to do that symptom-free, step number 2 would be a modified side bridge. Right, now the setup for this, we don't want to slump and let our back sag down towards the floor. So I lift my rib cage up, so I'm aligning my shoulders and hips. The space between my ribs and my hips needs to be equal on both sides. Okay, this is step one. Legs are stacked on top of each other. I'm gonna pull my shoulder blades down towards my hips. That's gonna stiffen up my lats. I'm gonna push my hips up and forward and bring my head and shoulder blades back. If someone is looking at me with a bird's eye view, they're gonna see that my ear, shoulder, hip, and knee, straight up and down. So 10-second hold. Now to come out of this, again, we don't slump. So I'm gonna slowly bring my hips back and down and then recover. So notice when I did that, I didn't plunk down into the ground and lose that nice neutral position. Okay, our third progression for the side plank would be from the feet. So for this one, this time I'm gonna go heel to toe for the feet. Top leg is in front. My setup is very similar where the shoulders are pulled down towards the hips. I've aligned my spine into neutral. I'm gonna push my feet down into the floor and then bring my head and shoulders back. Again, we're gonna hold this for 10 seconds. And then to get down out of it, you bring the hips back and let the knees bend and recover. Remember, think ease in and then ease back out. We don't wanna be plunking in and out of these things. That can shock load the spine and cause pain. Part 3 of the Big Three is called the bird dog. And this exercise is designed to build extensor endurance across the upper back and then down the opposite side of the body, posterior hip and spinal extensors. Now by using the opposite arm and leg, we reduce the total muscle contraction and therefore we reduce the total compressive load on the spine. As I do it, you're gonna see also going from all fours, we take off basically 2 legs of that table, which creates a tipping point. We have to buttress against that rotation with trunk musculature activation. So we're building extensor endurance and then building buttressing endurance against rotational torque. So I'm gonna get set up here, hands under my shoulders and knees under my hips. I'm gonna find that natural curve in the low back. Sometimes getting into position, it can feel like you're exaggerating it, but oftentimes that's actually the neutral or best position. I'm gonna pre-brace, gently stiffen up the abdominal muscles, anti-shrug my shoulders. I'm pulling my shoulders down towards my hips, which engages my lats, so I'm adding some stiffness. This also allows me to see, hey, how does it feel in this position? Is this causing any pain? So things are feeling good. Now I'm gonna go opposite arm, opposite leg, holding that position. So I'm punching my arm forward with a fist and I'm kicking my heel back to activate the glute on the side of the leg that's elevated. Again, we're gonna hold this for 10 seconds. We're gonna bring it back down. I'm gonna reset and switch sides. So pre-brace the abdominals, stiffen the lats. Now I'm gonna go left arm and right leg. We're gonna hold for 10 seconds. As you're doing this, we wanna maintain a neutral spine. So the idea is when I lift my arm and leg off the ground, I don't want my hip to drop and lose that position. My spine is locked into place. I create motion from the hip and shoulder without shifting my weight away and without dropping or dumping the spine.